morning. First of all, thank everyone for being here and giving me an opportunity to take a few days to get settled and have everyone here to speak. I certainly appreciate that. First, I want to address the results of the Sheriff's Office property tax renewal. The citizens of St. Tammany Parish have once again demonstrated their confidence in the men and women of this agency. I am deeply grateful for the trust that our citizens have placed in our deputies, and I think that it demonstrates that even during a time of transition, even during a time of uncertainty, the citizens of this parish believe in their deputies and believe in the men and women who serve them. To put it into perspective, 10 years ago when this tax renewed, it renewed at a rate of 58%. We saw a 65% win this year. I think that speaks volumes for the confidence that our citizens have in our deputies. Today is also an important opportunity to discuss the future of the Sheriff's Office. I want to thank the Parish Council for taking their swift action and calling for a special election this fall. Their efforts have provided a clear and orderly path forward for the citizens of St. Tammany Parish to select their next sheriff. As I have previously stated, I will not be a candidate for sheriff. My focus remains exactly where it should be, leading this agency through a smooth and successful transition and ensuring that the next administration inherits a sheriff's office that is strong, stable, and positioned for continued success. There will be no interruption in services our citizens depend upon every day. The men and women of this sheriff's office continue to answer calls, investigate crimes, protect our communities, and provide countless other services that keep this parish safe and functioning. It has been more than 30 years since the citizens of St. Tammany Parish have had the opportunity to select the sheriff to an open seat. Much has changed during those times. In the mid-90s, St. Tammany Parish was home to approximately 170,000 residents. Today, our population is approaching 280,000 people. Our communities have expanded, our population has grown, and the demands placed on public safety has increased dramatically. The Sheriff's Office has continued to evolve and adjust to the growth. The scope of our mission has grown significantly. Today, we serve one of the fastest growing parishes in Louisiana, and we do so with professionalism, integrity, and a deep commitment to public service. As we move forward, my commitment is simple. I will support our employees, maintain the confidence of the public, ensure continuity of operations, and work every day to leave this agency in the strongest possible position for the next administration. The citizens of St. Tammany Parish deserve nothing less. I thank you all for letting me have an opening statement, and if there are any questions from the media, I'd be happy to take those now.
Obviously, you're coming into the department at a shaky time, and one of the things you're going to have to do is, try to restore public trust. How do you plan on doing that?
Through open communication and dialogue, making myself available. I welcome community input. Look, we're talking maybe 5 months, 6 months. That's the reality of how long I'll be here holding this office. But during that time, I hope to make some small changes to show some progress and restore the faith in the public, restore some faith and trust within our own employees and deputies, and start there. And I welcome the dialogue. I had a staff meeting this morning where I expressed the same thing to our upper rank. I want open dialogue, and that goes for the citizens as well.
Is there a reason why you are choosing not to run for the permanent spot?
After 30 years of service, I love this agency. I just feel like my calling right now is to make sure this agency transitions to the next sheriff. I think we will have a full field of candidates that have a lot to offer. And I think the citizens of St. Tammany Parish are well versed to select who they want their next sheriff to be. We will have some tremendous people running, and it will be in good hands. And right now, my focus is to transition to that, and never really had any desire for political office.
So when that transition happens, what happens to your role next?
I plan on retiring, spending some time with my grandchildren.
Mr. Sheriff, I know, I realize you're not running, but as far as who might take your position, who might be that top popular in the parish, any thoughts on who it should be, who it could be, any qualities that you might want to see in who takes this position?
I want a strong leader. I want somebody who will lead this agency forward, continue to grow it with the growing population, continue to maintain those open lines of communication and the open dialogue with our community and with our employees. Look, they will be surrounded by some very talented men and women who work for this agency. I would hope that that person comes in with their own ideas, but with some open mind to listen to our employees and to continue to carry the agency forward. I have no intentions of endorsing anyone. I want this to remain as smooth of a transition as it possibly can. And I don't want an endorsement for any one candidate to get it in the way of a transition for another candidate. So I hope everyone can respect that.
And as far as this weekend's vote, not to be a dead horse, but something very significant.
It was huge, especially when you look at where we were 10 years ago with the percentage of win compared to where we are now and everything we're going through. Look, several months ago, we made a conscious decision that we first needed to sell our employees. And we began educating our employees on just how important this tax was for them, for their agency, for their community, for their futures. And once we educated our employees, you could see it on social media. Our employees were educating the public. We pushed a few things out there, but it was our employees on social media. It was our employees speaking to their friends. It was our employees speaking to their families. And look, I appreciate all the community support we had, the community leaders, the parish president, the district attorney, all of our local chiefs of police that got behind this tax, recognized how important it was. That was huge as well. But the grassroots effort of getting this tax passed by such a large margin was on the shoulders of our employees, and I am so proud of them, and I will not take anything away from what they did to get this passed.
Can we talk a little bit about Monday morning after the millage passes? Could you feel a shift in the spirits, the culture of just the employees that worked here after hearing that millage passed? What was that moment like? I know you weren't in their homes, but was there talk about how they were feeling about what happened Saturday?
Absolutely, a huge sigh of relief. There was always that wonder what would happen if the millage did not pass. What was the agency going to look like if those significant of cuts had to be made? And after it passed, just a huge sigh of relief. Okay, let's get back to work. Let's start concentrating on our day-to-day duties, and let's move forward.
Beyond the millage, have you extensively, I'm sure you've been busy with staff and staff being always getting out with just the men and women on the street and all that. How extensively have you been able to talk to all these people, and just what is the overall mood considering the events recently? And, how do you feel the mood of the whole department is now? Obviously you want to just move forward. What do you sense that is right now with the whole staff?
I think that the overall consensus of the staff is they're glad it's over. They're glad that this did not drag out any longer than it needed to. They want to just do their day-to-day work. Most of these men and women out there providing the service to our community just want to be out there, be law enforcement professionals, do their job, represent the badge like they know it needs to be represented, and do their job. And at this point, just move forward and put it behind us. Let's look forward to a new administration coming in and continuing to carry us forward.
How does it feel being called sheriff?
It takes a little getting used to.
I was actually going to ask something similar to that. We saw within 48 hours the transition. I don't know if you knew sooner than that, but what was that process like with coming to terms that you're possibly going to be leading this department? How
It was relatively quick. You know, there was a little bit of time to start processing and thinking, look, when you're 30 years ago, well, 28 when I started, I did a couple years with probation and parole. That puts me right at 30 years of law enforcement. But when I began my law enforcement career 30 years ago, you look at the people at the top and you think, maybe me one day, who knows? But, you know, it never really sets in. And then to be given the opportunity, regardless of circumstance, it's very humbling. You know, you take it with the intent of doing the best job you can, no matter how long you have in this seat. And that's what I intend to do. And it came relatively quickly, but, you know, the reality of it set in, and we moved forward with it.
Aside from your new position here, are there any other administrative changes at the very top of the department, deputy chief or other rankings?
There were a couple of additions that were made. George Cox, who was a deputy chief along with me, moved up to chief deputy, who is number 2 position. Then we made, actually, Dan Fleischman was a major with the department. We moved him up to a deputy chief position, put him over our corrections facility. There were a few minor changes that were made just to continue with continuity and to make sure that we had that coverage and workflow and everything as that goes. There are no major changes that I intend to make moving forward. We will address any openings that may come through attrition or whatever over the next few months, but those were the main changes that we made.
For citizens who don't know you very well, can you give us a little bit about your background beyond? Are you from St. Tammany Parish? Or?
Born and raised in Hammond, so just to the west. Graduate of Hammond High School, go Tours, Tornadoes, class of '89. Went to Southeastern Louisiana University, graduated in '93 with a bachelor's degree in criminal justice, a minor in sociology. Began my professional career in retail management. Decided that wasn't for me. Entered public service, began my public service career with Department of Corrections, Office of Probation and Parole. Did a little over 2 years with probation and parole. Through fate, whatever, happened to be assigned to the 22nd JDC. At that time, probation and parole was out of a meet. It covered the 21st and 22nd Judicial District. I was assigned to the Covington, Ibert Springs area. Began to get to know a lot of the deputies over here in St. Tammany Parish over those 2 years, and fell in love with this agency. And in 1999, I applied with and was hired to the St. Tammany Parish Sheriff's Office. Began my career in criminal patrol, worked up through the ranks, serving in special operations, investigations, served almost 2 years in our juvenile investigations section, dealt with some of just the saddest, most horrific crimes against juveniles. Worked my way up through the ranks and eventually made it to warden of our jail, served for about a year as warden of the jail, then made deputy chief, and now here we are.
What do you like to do for fun?
Play with the grandkids and my 2 puppy dogs. they'll make fun of me. My hobbies tend to be working in the flower beds, playing with the puppy dogs, and spend as much time as I can with the grandkids. They're spread out across the United States, but we try to spend as much time as we can with them. Number 7 on the way, so. It's precious.
You don't look that old.
Well, if I let my hair grow out, it'll be about as gray as yours, so we're right there, my friend. Anything else? And I certainly appreciate y'all coming today, and we will certainly keep the lines of communication open. Y'all all have Suzanne and Carly's contact information. Feel free to reach out whenever you have any questions or concerns, and we're here for you. Thank you.